Well, hello there, everyone. It is the last and final show of the week. It's Friday night, so you all know what that means. It is time to talk about Friday Night Smackdown, and boy, is there stuff to talk about today. Unfortunately, today's show necessarily wasn't the greatest. It wasn't the best. There was a lot of questionable things that occurred on today's show, and maybe a couple of good things, but I think there was more bad moments throughout this show that I don't think many of us enjoyed, but we're going to go ahead and talk about that and go through all of that on tonight's show. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone for tuning in, and I do want to remind you all that this is a very interactive stream. So if you guys would like to go ahead and send in a comment or a question or a statement, you guys are more than welcome to. I will try to read your thoughts as we talk about this entire show and we go through it chronologically. Also, let's go ahead and start off, guys. Go ahead and let me know what you guys thought about SmackDown overall as a theme, and then we'll sort of take it chronologically and sort of talk about how it all went down here today. I'll kick things off with Freaks of Wrestling podcast, who says, good episode of SmackDown, but having Tamina pin Belair was terrible booking, but I liked what happened after the match when Belair blamed Sasha and Reggie, and that made her look smart. Oh, we're going to get into everything with Sasha and Bianca because, unfortunately, this was the feud that I thought was going to be super hot. I thought it was going to go in with lots of heat. I thought that it was just going to be such an easy story to tell, an easy feud, and it sort of ended up not being that the last several weeks. So I am very disappointed as to how Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair has been playing out as of late. So I hope that that gets better, but we will recap that once we get to that segment of today's show. We have a comment from Joseph that says, it feels like while it was a good SmackDown wasn't a priority this. Oh, he says it feels like while it was good, SmackDown wasn't a priority this week. It really didn't feel like a momentous SmackDown. I think we've came on here and I've done several streams where I'm coming on and I'm like, all right, guys, we had a good show. Let's talk about this, and that. This show tonight didn't really feel like that. Thank you so much to Puma Warrior 13 for coming in and sending some love over here on here. I really enjoy that. Thank you so much to, actually, this is a comment from Aaron who says, what was that Reginald Nia segment? And I saw your tweet about your grandma. So for those of you who did not see my tweet, I had an embarrassing moment where my grandma I was watching SmackDown in the living room today instead of my bedroom, and I was casting it on TV, and my grandma walked in during that Reginald segment with Nia while they were shopping. She walked in, and she kind of paused and looked at the TV a little bit just to kind of see what was going on. And it was just as Reginald was sitting on Nia's lap. And then she kind of didn't say anything, didn't look at me, and just kept walking out. And for that couple of seconds that my grandma was standing there, I felt kind of embarrassed. I'm not going to lie. I kind of felt a little bit embarrassed there. I really, really did. Let's see. Alberto says, to be honest, the momentum of SmackDown has gone down. It kind of feels that way. I think that, when the heel Roman Reigns persona sort of kicked off when he was doing this whole feud with Jey Uso, SmackDown felt pretty hot. But I think today and maybe last week has sort of been a little bit downhill, I think. We have a comment from Nico Suave Verjoli who says, Big E's tone was serious, but his choice of words still felt, at least in the beginning, like he was trying to make me laugh. I really love Tamina and Natalia's tag team outfits. They actually came out with coordinating outfits today. I really enjoyed that as well. I'll get into Big E's segment and what I thought about his promo once we get there, because I'm not going to say I loved it, but I'm also not going to say I hated it, and I'll get into that a little bit more as we go in there as well. And let's go ahead and see what else. Oh, we got a super chat. Thank you so much to Sam Pi Boone. Sam, thank you very much for sending in the super chat. It's very greatly appreciated. Sam says, do you think we will see tag teams edge? Okay, let me read that again. Do you think we will see tag teams edge tag teams versus Daniel Bryan against Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, maybe for WWE Universal Heavyweight Championship at Fastlane? Okay, so I'm a little bit confused on the question here. Oh, are you thinking, Edge and Daniel Bryan versus Roman and Jey Uso? Are you talking about for WrestleMania? Sorry, I'm a little bit unclear on the question here. I'm just a little bit confused, but we'll circle back to that because I do have some predictions for WrestleMania based on what was announced today at the end of the stream. So we'll get into that in a second here. We have a comment from Michael who says he's not looking forward to Fastlane at all. And that's definitely not what you want to hear. It really does suck. Naman says, what are your thoughts on the Roman Reigns heel character? I love the Roman Reigns heel character. I just don't think that the focus right now, I know the focus is supposed to be on Edge Roman Reigns, but it really feels like my attention is naturally moving more towards Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan. I think the Roman Reigns heel character is phenomenal, though, and it's still one of those things that's really keeping SmackDown together and really making it something where the fans, I think, still want to tune in to see what heel Roman Reigns is going to be doing. So I do like this. Kyle Rochelle says, it's okay, but Sasha and Bianca don't need to face for the tag team championships again, and just let Sasha and Bianca be left alone for WrestleMania. We will get into that because as Janelle Jackson points out, they're not doing a good job with Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. And it bums me out, guys. It really bums me out because this one was such an easy story to tell. But let's go ahead and kick off the show. Let's talk about everything that went down. We're going to go through this in chronological order since it's just the easiest way to go about this. The show kicked off with Edge basically coming out saying he's a family man, calling Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman great spin doctors. Edge says that he's worked harder than Roman Reigns. Daniel Bryan then comes out and says that he has respect for Edge for everything that he has accomplished in his career, but says that wanting to challenge Roman Reigns has nothing to do with Edge. Daniel Bryan says that this feels like it is going to be his last shot for the title. And this is where I'm getting at here. To me, in this entire segment, I really truly felt like Daniel Bryan was the bigger babyface. I know Edge is supposed to be the babyface in all of this, the storyline with Roman Reigns, but I really do feel like Daniel Bryan is sort of outshining him in that. I didn't like that. I didn't like Edge's approach to this because Edge was sort of upset at Daniel Bryan for sort of getting himself involved in this storyline. And I didn't necessarily like that because it wasn't really a babyface character trait for Edge to do. I think it would have made more sense had Edge basically told Daniel Bryan, like, hey, I'm going to sit back. I'm going to enjoy this match between you and Roman Reigns, and may the best man win because I want to face the very best at WrestleMania. I think had he said something along the lines of that, it would have came off more as a babyface tactic versus instead sort of being angry that Daniel Bryan is essentially getting a shot at the title. So I didn't feel like this really fell in line with who Edge is supposed to be, who he's supposed to be in the storyline. So this to me didn't make any sense, especially considering that Edge won the Royal Rumble. So as the person who wins the Royal Rumble, it's like the fact that you shouldn't even matter who you're facing because you're trying to get your hands on the title. So I think that definitely right now I have a lot more interest in seeing Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan than I prefer to see Roman Reigns versus Edge. However, once I get to the actual closing segment of tonight's show, I'm going to go ahead and give my other ideas and feelings about this. But in the meantime, let's see what you guys are all saying here. And I think, we might as well just talk about it, guys. You know what? I'm just going to include the closing segment in this as I read your guys' comments. So let's see. We have a comment from Mayush. Or do we get another? Here we go. Okay, this one's from Mayush who says, maybe Bryan versus Edge versus Roman at WrestleMania. I am starting to feel more confident in the fact, especially after how everything played out at the end of SmackDown today, that this may be the direction that we're heading in. Because even though it still feels very much like it's going to be Edge versus Roman Reigns, I prefer, like, if we're not going to have, obviously we're going to have Edge in the main event regardless, right? So I actually prefer this triple threat versus just Edge versus Roman. I like the idea, and I know a lot of people have been saying this for the last several weeks now, Bryan versus Edge versus Roman Reigns, and I really do think that that is what's going to happen. Let's see what else we have here. Mayush, we have a comment from let's see. We have a comment from Jason who says Roman Reigns equals Randy Orton, Edge equals Batista, Daniel Bryan equals Daniel Bryan. I get you here. Okay, so this is so in the closing segment, the main event portion of this, we had the contract signing with Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns for Fastlane. Roman starts off by basically saying that he's not really feeling this, that he doesn't want to sign, etc. Daniel Bryan quickly signs. Daniel starts essentially getting under Roman's skin, basically taunting at him and like getting on his nerves, essentially. And Roman Reigns ends up signing the contract. First of all, I'm just going to go ahead and say that they have good chemistry together, Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan, because just the way that he was sort of getting under Roman Reigns' skin, it worked so perfectly with the Roman Reigns heel character. I really liked how that worked out. Then Daniel Bryan essentially tells them that he is going to make him tap out the way that he made Jey Uso tap out. Jey Uso then gets seriously pissed and throws the table. He names himself the special enforcer of the match, but that is short-lived because quickly after that, Edge comes out, and then Edge basically says that he wants to challenge Jey Uso for next week's SmackDown, and the winner of that will be the special enforcer at Fastlane. So here we go, prediction time, because this is looking like what is going to happen. So my prediction in all of this, based after what we saw at the ending of SmackDown, is one, that Edge is going to win to become the special enforcer at Fastlane. Two, that Jimmy might be returning at Fastlane. And when I interviewed Jey Uso literally like a week ago, he did tell me that it looks like Jimmy Uso, we may be seeing him real soon. He didn't say when, but he did hint at me and tell me that we're going to be seeing Jimmy Uso soon. So I think Jimmy Uso will come out at Fastlane, and he's going to end up costing Daniel Bryan his Fastlane match. And that is how eventually we're going to get Daniel Bryan worked into the triple threat match, to become a triple threat match, excuse me. So again, Edge winning to become the special enforcer, Jimmy returning at Fastlane and costing Daniel Bryan that match, thus leading to it becoming a triple threat match at WrestleMania. Edge versus Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns. So now that is the picture that I am seeing with all of everything going down with Fastlane and the special enforcer. So guys, go ahead and send in your thoughts on all of this. Do you like my idea? Do you see it going a different direction? If that is the direction that they're heading into, are you even interested in that? Go ahead and send in your thoughts, and I'm going to go ahead and start reading some of your comments. Here we go. RJ Best says, but Edge isn't a babyface. He's the ultimate opportunist. He's supposed to be a babyface in this storyline. So, yeah, he's supposed to be a babyface in all of this. Freaks of Wrestling podcast says, I think Edge screws Bryan at Fastlane pay-per-view, and that sets up the triple threat match at WrestleMania 37. That can also definitely happen again. So they do have several routes to take to this to set up that triple threat match. So I like so far where this is going, and I hope they keep the momentum hot. High and loaded, because right now I really do think that a lot of the matches heading into WrestleMania feel like they're lacking heat. And we're going to talk about this because there's an obvious one, which you guys all know which one I'm talking about, that is not necessarily coming out the way we all expected it would be. We have a comment from Alberto who says, to be honest, I see it going to that direction, but I see Edge winning in the end at WrestleMania. I still think that no matter what, I still think it should be Roman Reigns. If it's not Roman Reigns, I want it to be Daniel Bryan. Like, let's say we end up having this triple threat match. If it's not Roman Reigns, I do want to see Daniel Bryan win that title. I'm telling you guys, like, Daniel Bryan, just in terms of like babyface direction, he really has just completely outshined. And that's because he's such a natural as well. And let's see, we have a comment from Aaron who says, the idea Bryan has one last opportunity at a major championship is more compelling and makes for better storyline than Edge versus Roman. Completely agree with you on this, Aaron. So there you guys go. That is pretty much our thoughts and predictions heading into WrestleMania. Obviously, depending on what happens at Fastlane, we'll have obviously a clearer direction into where we're heading at here. All right, guys, let's go ahead and continue on with the rest of the show. So we already covered the opening and the main event segment because let's face it, those always tie into one another. But we do have some couple more things to get into here. So the opening match of the night was an 8-man tag team match, which was the Street Profits, Dominic Mysterio, and Rey Mysterio defeating the team of Robert Roode, Chad Gable, Otis, and Dolph Ziggler. So I do like how this match kicked off right away with the pre-match attack. The second they came back from commercial, this match started off really hot, lots of energy. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really fun match. Let me see. There was a spot here where Dominic actually slipped a little bit doing the tornado DDT, but Roode totally saved him on that. And I wanted to bring that up simply for the fact that Dominic needs to keep working with guys like this just to continue getting better. And this was obviously that one little moment was just a clear indication of that. And I also enjoy the fact that they're doing these the fact that they had this 8-man tag team match to me works out a lot better in terms of getting us building more tag teams and also continue the feuds within the tag teams, because it makes it more fun than instead of having these random, one tag team versus another random tag team match. We were starting to see that a lot consistently throughout SmackDown, and it was starting to get a little bit dull in my opinion. So I prefer this 8-man tag team style a lot better for this. And one of the other things, and I know that this is obviously very obvious, but I need to say it. We definitely, and I don't think at the top of my head that we may have seen this match already, but I don't think we've seen it to the caliber that it could be. But I really need to see Chad Gable versus Rey Mysterio for a solid 10-minute match on SmackDown. Just really let them go and let them have a bomb match. No distractions. That is something that I need, okay? I need it. I really, really do. But overall, this was a good, fun match. It was a good finish, and it furthers the storyline that the Street Profits, essentially pinned the champions here. So good stuff here. Really enjoyed this here. And let's see what else we have. If you guys had any comments on this match. Joseph Boza says it's just another way of justifying the Profits getting a rematch. Exactly. Patrick Agu says it was a terrible show tonight. Yeah, I can't disagree with you on that one, Patrick. I really can't. Really, the best things of the show today were definitely probably just everything that they're doing with Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, and Edge. That was the most interesting thing that we got here. We have a comment from Alberto who says, I agree, working with these guys, Bobby Roode and Dolph, helped Dominic get better, but I feel like he should go to NXT to help him grow as a wrestler. Yeah, I think so too. And it sucks because one of the things that obviously that's missing this year due to COVID is all of these house show matches that, a lot of these guys were able to have to get better. And, they were still doing all these house shows. You had Dominic working with all of these guys continuously on the road multiple times, etc. He would obviously be a lot better along with a lot of other people, but sadly, because of that, you just can't really get that. But what can you do? Okay, so after this, we had, oh God, guys, this segment. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. All right. So we had the Nia Jax taking out Reginald to go shopping. Now, I'm going to need all of your thoughts on this, guys. So send in your comments on this. I am very interested in hearing your reactions, getting your opinions on this, because this was very, very random. So obviously, they've been teasing that Nia Jax has this crush on Reginald. She's been calling him cute, and she's been flirting and being cute and all of that. Well, this week she takes Reginald shopping, and poor Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler was just sitting there on her phone, so disinterested, and she was really echoing all of our emotions watching this segment. So basically, they go to some shop, and Reginald's trying on a bunch of clothes. I mean, this is like the scene of a movie. He's trying on the clothes. He's coming out. He's dancing. He's modeling. She spanks his butt, okay? Nia Jax spanks Reginald's butt, okay? Then he dances some more. He poses some more. She takes some pictures, and then he sits on her lap. And I don't even know what he said or what they said in the end because my mind was going a million different directions during this whole entire segment. This was also the segment where my grandma walked in, and I was terribly embarrassed. But I'm guessing she's his sugar mama or something. I don't know. I thought this was very silly. I get what they're going for. It's like dumb funny. It's like I'm going to laugh because it's dumb, but it's not necessarily something I'm going to laugh at because I enjoy. For me, I'm so over this whole Reginald storyline. I'm not feeling it whatsoever, but what did you guys all think here? Let's see here. Let's see. We have quite a few comments on this, but we have a comment from Jason who says, hate it. Yeah, I think this is pretty much it. Aaron says he cringed so hard. Kyle Rochelle says, A, I don't like Sasha and Bianca going after tag bouts again. B, Reginald shouldn't be involved. If Sasha is going to be a heel, that's cool, but she doesn't need help with the turn. I completely agree with everything that you said here, Kyle. 100%. I mean, like, seriously, take the microphone, host the show, because I agree with everything you just said here. Joseph says, I cringed and laughed. I laughed at Shayna's reaction. I cringed because they reeks of Bertha Faye and Harvey Whippleman from 1995. This was so bad. I think cringe was definitely cringeworthy. JR is Junior says, not a fan of the Reginald arc. I don't think so, too. I do not think so, too. Rory, too, says, Reginald with Nia, what a joke. My whole awful. We have a comment from, let's go ahead and see. I'm reading the rest of your guys' comment here. Let's see. Well, yeah, Joseph says, yeah, he went from a sommelier to needing a sugar mama. That's true. He did. He went to essentially being, at somebody's beck and call to now he's basically the one being pampered, which I don't know what this is supposed to be, guys. Like, this to me doesn't feel like, it just feels so goofy. It really does. We have a super chat. Thank you so much to Jamie Miles who says, are you worried Jeremy might invade your channel? Thank you for sending in a super chat. Jeremy and I are friends, and Jeremy's off doing his own show. So at the moment, he will not be invading the channel. Plus, he doesn't have the key to enter this channel. Patrick Agu says, Reginald is taking up too much airtime on 2 shows, Patrick. 2 shows. Too much airtime. I 100% agree with you on this. Pirate Thug says, Reginald trying to earn every bit of that salary. Well, clearly, I'm assuming that Nia Jax paid for all of those fancy outfits, so maybe he doesn't even have to make that much money. He doesn't have to work that hard if Nia Jax is going to be, paying for his stuff. Doesn't she have that Total Divas money? Who knows? Guys, this was not for me. That segment was not for me. I don't know who it was for, but it wasn't for me. Let's see. Oh, and yeah. Let's go ahead and jump into, feel free to, if you guys have any more comments on this, send them in. But in the meantime, I'm going to jump into this next, the second match of the night, which was actually a rematch from last week, which was Cesaro versus Murphy. But we didn't really get a match out of this because, as this match started to get going, Seth Rollins came out and attacked Cesaro, which essentially ended this match here. But in the first place, we didn't really need this rematch in the first place since Cesaro beat Murphy cleanly last week, so we did not need this rematch. I actually thought it would have made more sense to swap the events of last week and this week. Last week, have the match, but have Seth Rollins attack Cesaro, and then this week, have the rematch instead. I thought that would have probably made a little bit more sense, but whatever. Seth afterwards wanted to Pillmanize Cesaro's neck, but the ref comes out and puts a stop to it. Now, so this next part, actually, you guys are going to have to fill me in on this one because I watch on the Fox Sports app and I was casting to my TV. And sometimes, unfortunately, because of my internet, it takes me out of it, and then I have to log back in. It's a nightmare, guys. Like, watching SmackDown for me isn't easy, okay, because of how I watch it. But it kicked me out. So I didn't see the moment between Seth Rollins and Shinsuke Nakamura. I actually saw that on Twitter. I didn't even get to see that on the actual show. For some reason, I just missed it, didn't see it. I don't know if it happened when my TV was glitching. I don't know. So I am a little bit not gonna probably say too much unless you guys have some thoughts on that. But if that is the direction that they're heading into, I do not mind it one bit. But let's see what you guys are saying. Aaron says, Seth's fashion on point. I'm a fan of his attires. You know what? Seth Rollins is literally, you know how they always ask celebrities, and I'm guilty of asking celebrities this question too, of if you could raid anyone's closet, who would it be? If anybody asks me whose closet I want to raid, I want to raid Seth Rollins' closet. Are you kidding me? He's my fashion soul sister, okay? My fashion soul sister. BTW. Rory too says that the segment between Nia Jax and Reginald reminded him of the movie scene from Clueless. For me, it actually reminded me of Confessions of a Shopaholic, because the girl takes the guy to get like new wardrobe, but in that sense, it's like a really cute story. In this one, it's not really a cute story, but it did remind me of that movie though. But like I said, that's something that's been done in like so many movies. Someone goes shopping, they get a makeover, all of that stuff. Let's see what else we have here. Anything else that I want to go ahead and read? Okay, thank you. Okay, we have several comments on the Nakamura thing, so I'm going to read those comments. This one is from Freaks of Wrestling Podcast. It says, give me Nakamura versus Rollins ASAP, please, and it will be a great match. Yes, Seth Rollins always has really great matches. Now mix that in with Shinsuke Nakamura, and you are going to get something really good. Joseph says, now I'm thinking a tag match could be at a Mania. Cesaro, Nakamura versus Seth and his follower Murphy. That doesn't make sense. I don't care for the Seth Murphy storyline anymore. That was so been there, done that. I already saw everything I needed to see there. And Alberto says, to be honest, I really hope WWE pushes Cesaro. Murphy is, to be honest, out of place. Like, first it was that romance between Aaliyah, and now this. Yeah, Murphy's one of those guys that has sort of been bounced around in these random storylines. And that storyline with the Mysterios, that went on forever. Let's see what else we have here. We have a comment from Redmond, who says Reginald is really weighing down SmackDown down way too much. Blaze says, bro, I want WWE Peacock so bad. I got the Peacock app, actually. I think they're having a pretty good, I think it was like $2 for like 4, I don't even know. It was like a really cheap deal, but I got the Peacock already, for those of you guys who are wondering. And Frankie Aponza says, Seth's watching right now and taking down notes. Dude, Seth is seriously just stealing my entire wardrobe here. Rory too says, Denise, did you hear Andrade asked for his release? He did. And Dave Meltzer actually recently reported about like, I don't know what, like an hour and a half ago or so, that it was denied. For those of you guys who are wondering, there has been an update. His release has been denied. And I do feel bad, terribly bad for Andrade, as we all do. I think, what was it, 5 months that he's been out of action, wasn't in the draft. I mean, God, I don't know what to say that hasn't already been said, guys. It's not fair. I think that Andrade is definitely somebody that, if given the right opportunities, would be a big star. I was already talking about the whole representation thing on the Listing Your Girl when I did it on Fightful. I already went in depth on that, but we need more. We need more Mexican stars, guys. What the hell? Like, we need more Mexican stars. It really bums me out, because I feel like all of those guys that you're like, oh, they have so much potential, so much charisma, so much talent, so much suave, and it's not being utilized. So it does really bum me out, but what can you do, guys? What can you do? All right. here we go. Let's continue on, though, in the meantime to this. So after this, here we go. This is the thing that we need to talk about because this is kind of what was everybody on Twitter. I don't think not one person was completely feeling this segment or the storyline or this feud, period. And that was the KO show with Sasha and Bianca Belair. Wow. In my notes, I wrote Sasha and Bailey. Wow. All right. Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. I was instantly turned off the second they started talking about Reginald and made this about Reginald. I thought, nope, you don't need it. I've been saying this. We've all been saying this. We do not need the incorporation of Reginald in this storyline. As somebody else earlier mentioned that, yes, Sasha Banks is the one to be the heel in this. That's perfectly fine. Turn heel, etc. Heck, she could have used Reginald really fast as a storyline, as a way to turn heel, but now it's sort of gone on too much where it's come across as annoying. But it really bums me out that this storyline is not necessarily going the way that I think a lot of us expected it to, because we all felt that this was going to be the WrestleMania main event for at least one of the nights, Sasha and Bianca, and it still very may well be. But I always say that the hottest feuds should be the main event. And right now, I will be honest with you, this does not feel like a hot feud whatsoever. And that really, really sucks to say because I think we all know what kind of feud it could be. And the fact that we're not all necessarily like, talking about it in a good way is kind of disappointing. I think really the story here should have been that Sasha Banks turning heel, she eventually snaps because she's sick and tired of Bianca Belair always one-upping her. That should have been the story here. Bianca Belair getting the best of her. Sasha Banks feeling intimidated because Bianca Belair is the hot, up-and-coming talent trying to take her spot. She feels intimidated. She feels threatened. That should have been the storyline here, and that really isn't what we're being told. They're going after the tag team titles at Fastlane. That feels like something that shouldn't have even been part of this story. It really feels like this could have just gone an entirely different direction to make it feel that much more important. And that's why this bums me out. Obviously, we're still a couple of weeks away from WrestleMania. We still got Fastlane. So I really, really hope that this turns around and that we get more excited about this match. I want to come on here when I'm talking about my WrestleMania predictions in a couple of weeks. I want to come on here and say I am so excited for this match and I want to mean it. So hopefully we do get that. In the meantime, let's see what you guys are all saying here. Let's see. I'm seeing plenty of comments on this. So what are you all saying? All right. Paige Valentine says, Hal first knows Sasha still SmackDown Women's Championship legit boss. Okay. And everybody's talking about Andrade now. Okay. Alberto says, Denise, I was going to ask you personally which wrestler you feel like a potential to be a main event player that we haven't seen. I mean, there's quite a few. I mean, just off the top of my head, since we were just talking about it, I do really think that Andrade could have been at that spot. I really do think so. I thought the same thing about Aleister Black. There's so many people that I really feel could be in that position. And I'm sure like more names will pop up to me when I think about them in a second here. And we also have a comment from, let's see, this one is from Joseph. It says, this sets up next week features match. WWE Women's Champion Sasha Banks must defend versus half the WWE Women's Tag Team Champion Nia Jax with Reginald Thomas. And, all right. I'm going through all of your comments, guys. I'm trying to pick out the ones that pertain to this conversation, so excuse me. Redmond says, I have a dreaded feeling that Reginald is fully going to align with Sasha at Fastlane too. Yeah, I just don't want it to take the full attention from this. Like, I don't mind if he's the one that essentially helps her turn heel and all of that, because that was my original prediction at the last pay-per-view, but it just... there's no interest now. And then the whole thing with Nia Jax, I mean, it just really isn't all that interesting there. It really isn't. And this one is also from Joseph. It says, I don't expect much of anything to happen at Fastlane. Fastlane is more of a rehearsal of getting the network ready for the official stream on April 5th in the States. We have a comment from Patrick who says, why was Sasha Banks chasing Reginald all about when her match was going on? Why is Sasha and Bianca's match all about Reginald? In fact, why is WWE creative? Okay, so here's the thing too. I didn't even get into that part, guys. Holy dang. All right, so after this, we went into the actual match, which was Tamina and Natalya versus Sasha and Bianca. So Bianca was pinned in this match. I kid you not, by Tamina. Bianca Belair was pinned by Tamina in this match after she was just distracted because Sasha Banks was chasing around Reginald, and that caused her to get distracted and get pinned. And I get it. It was a distraction finish, but in no point in my mind should somebody that's going into this WrestleMania WrestleMania match, potentially main event worthy, should not be losing to Tamina. It really was something that I wasn't expecting, and it really came out of nowhere. So I was really not a fan of this whatsoever. I really was not. Anything else here? All right. So as we continue on, we're going to move on to okay, someone has a comment here. Rory2 says 4 months of the Peacock for $2.99. Thank you. That's the deal that I did. And after that, $4.99. Also, if you have Bank of America, you get $5 cash back. I don't know how many of you guys knew that, but I've been sharing that information, putting it out there. Hey, if you can get $5 cash back, take it. All right. And Redmond Survivor says Tamina should not be pinning anyone, let alone WrestleMania title challenger. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate. Nico Suave has a different opinion. Says Tamina is good. Give her and Natalya a run with the tag bouts. I think at this point, anybody but Nia and Shayna would be refreshing to have as tag team champions. So let's go ahead and move on. After this, we had Big E versus Sami Zayn here. And really here, the story is Big E essentially. So Big E defeats Sami Zayn. Okay, this was a fun match, great intensity by Big E. He looked phenomenal. This was a good match to basically get him over, and Sami Zayn was the perfect opponent to do this with. But I think what a lot of people are talking about too is Big E's promo, because we got to see a very angry Big E. Big E came out, said he's back from the medical facility after Apollo's attack on him, calls out Apollo. Apollo doesn't come out. That ends up leading to the open challenge, which Sami Zayn ends up taking. And after the match with Sami Zayn, Apollo then comes out and attacks him, which was perfectly fine. But what did you all think of Big E's promo? Again, he came out, he was pissed, he was upset, Personally, as I wait for your comments to come in on this, I thought his promo was fine towards the end, where he basically started calling Apollo Crews to come out because he was pissed. I think had he just gotten straight to the point, this promo would have been a lot more impactful, because the start of the promo for me didn't necessarily grab my attention. I kind of tuned out during it, if I'm going to be really honest with you. But it was once he started getting really upset that really drew back some of my attention here. So that was my opinion on all of that. And let's see, Mike New York points out that there is no Billie Kay, no Bayley, no Sonya tonight. We haven't seen Billie in a while, because I don't think we saw her last week, did we? I don't think so. Bayley, she had that quick ding dong hello segment last week. Sonya, I know, had a backstage segment last week, and that was pretty much it. Mayush says, I'm liking Sammy and Corbin. Whoever says I accept first gets the match, or whoever enters the ring first gets the match. It was a fun interaction. Oh, I love this. I thought this was hilarious. Big E basically saying whoever gets in the ring first gets the match. Oh, that was so funny. And Sami Zayn again was really the perfect person to do this with. Shout out to Pandy Post for coming in. Hello to Pandy. I always welcome new viewers. BTW, if you are a new viewer on here, do not forget to subscribe to the channel and follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at _Denise Salcedo. All right, this is a comment from Alberta who says, yeah, to be honest, Big E in the start of the promo kind of faded out, like you said. In the end, when he got upset, it was intense. But honestly, I really like the Apollo heel turn. I think the Apollo heel turn is getting better and better every week. This does not include the accent, though. So do not include the accent in on this opinion. He is getting better and better with this character. I like it. He's actually done more of a change than Big E. I really do think Big E needs to also get some sort of new gear, some sort of new minor character adjustments, because right now he still feels like Big E from the New Day. So I would like to see a different Big E going into this role as IC champion. So I do think I would like to see a little bit of change with Big E. Okay, so after this, oh man, I already talked about the main event segment. All right, guys, that's pretty much SmackDown. Wow, I seriously thought we had more to go over. I'm going to go ahead and read some final comments, guys. So send in final comments and I will read them, talk about them, and then we'll go ahead and wrap this show. But this is a comment from Patrick who says, Apollo feels legit. So happy for him. Denise, do you think Apollo would win the Intercontinental title at Fastlane? They shouldn't waste his heel turn. Dude, he's on fire right now. I'm actually pretty interested in him. I would not be outraged. I would not be upset if he were to become Intercontinental Champion. Now, obviously, I would like a more better of a run for Big E. So I do want to see his reign go a little longer. But right now, it feels like the attention is on Apollo. He feels like the attention grabber right now, and that I'm sure a lot of people didn't expect. He kind of came out of nowhere with this new character, and people are liking it. So might as well ride with that, right? Coming from Joseph, it says, I like the turn too. Apollo has been rejuvenated in his character since coming to SmackDown. Only question is Fastlane or Mania for the title match with Big E. Exactly. And we have a comment from Kyle who says, Big E and Cruz should keep this feud going in the future. And Moises says, who's the best, worst character in your opinion on SmackDown? Best, worst character? See, I think that the worst characters right now are not necessarily the best at being the worst. Like all the people I look forward to watching on SmackDown are Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens, Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair, Sami Zayn. And as of top of my head right now, those are the people that I get excited for tuning in to watch SmackDown. Nobody else at the moment gets me excited. Obviously, Edge, Daniel Bryan, I just want to make sure I said them. I'm not sure if I said them already. But honestly, nobody else for me is necessarily like, oh, I'm excited to see this person every week, you know? Those are the people that I look forward to each and every single week. And anything else? And lastly, Timothy Beatty says, what do you do with Edge if he wins the title? If he does win the title, I feel like Edge has been having such a great run that they could definitely do a lot of good with him as champion. Now, do I necessarily want to see an Edge title run? Maybe not. I think my interest is definitely either with Roman Reigns keeping the title or with Daniel Bryan getting a last and final run, since it really feels like they're hitting us over the head with that this may be his last and final opportunity. So I kind of want to see that with Daniel Bryan instead, really. All right, guys, there you go. That is our show. Thank you so much to everyone for tuning in to my SmackDown post show. It's the final show of the week. I'm going to relax Saturday and Sunday and watch the Grammys on Sunday. So that is my plan for this weekend. Other than that, I will see you guys back on Monday for the Raw post show on Fightful with Sean Ross Sapp. Then after that, I will see you on Wednesday for Speak Now Pro Wrestling episode 25 on F4W Online. Then after that, I will see you on the Wrestle Talk podcast at 7 a.m. And then after that, I will see you back here at 7 p.m. for the SmackDown show. Wow, I completely forgot my own schedule, everybody. Follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at _Denise Salcedo. Love you all. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys later. Bye, everyone. Have a great and wonderful